guys, I'm Stacy and welcome to the Retro Time Machine. Today I'm going to show you how to take an old tie and turn it into silk dyed Easter eggs. So Easter has always been one of my favorite holidays. For some reason, as a little kid, I always gravitated towards the usual arts and craft project on Easter, which is egg dyeing. A lot of good food, a lot of good cooking, a lot of Jesus. And one of the first crafts that people can all get around and relate about, which is egg dyeing. For me, ever since I was a little kid, any Easter party that we went to, if there was an egg dyeing station, that's where I was for most of the day. And I'm still like that. I really love dyeing Easter eggs. I love the challenge. I love to see how creative I can get. I love to see what designs I can make, color combinations. So this was a fantastic project for me. Every time I find a new way to dye an egg, I put it in the back of my brain and save it for the next year. So this is one of those projects that I had heard a little bit about, but I had never tried. And I happened to be at the thrift store with one of my best friends and found a pile of old silk ties, tossed them in my basket and took them home with me and saved them for like a month before I could use them. But I knew that this was something that I wanted to take on this year. And I'm so glad that I did. These eggs are beautiful, guys. This is a project that maybe is a little bit more not geared for little kids, but more for adults, teens, and tweens. But something that is so satisfying and so beautiful. People won't believe it. People won't believe that it was that easy, and it was that easy. I want you all to try this and blow your friends and family away this year, because it didn't take much effort, honestly.
For today's project, you're going to need large and small scissors or seam ripper. You're going to need some beautiful eggs for dyeing, some string to wrap around the outside of the egg, and also cut linen or an old bed sheet will work perfect. I always recommend going local with your eggs, so check out your local farmers market or even Facebook Marketplace to find some lovely canvases for your creation. Bigger is always better, so these are duck eggs compared to a chicken egg. Definitely grab some if you can. When selecting your ties, you want to go with something that has a beautiful, bold pattern, and the darker color will definitely give more of a vibrant hue to your egg. Don't get any silk ties that say stain resistant, and also make sure to check the label and look for 100% silk. Now go ahead and grab your seam ripper and work down the tie. It goes pretty quick, but be careful, it is sharp. You can definitely use a small pair of scissors if you don't have a seam ripper. Once you crack open that tie, you'll really be able to see the vibrant colors. Removing the inside lining is pretty easy. You're just going to go in and pick away at the small stitching. Sometimes the fabric will also tear, but just take your time. You don't want to ruin any of the tie because you need that for your next step. Look at that inside print. Make sure you take the tags off too. Before you do any cutting, make sure you measure out as much material as you'll need to cover one egg. You're going to want to make sure you use the side of the tie that faces out. That's where the detail in the print is. Spritz that down with some water and begin to apply it by pinching and tucking. So the water will help the fabric adhere better to the egg, and the closer and tighter we get it, the better it will transfer. Next, in a small dish, dip in your cloth fabric strips that you cut earlier and begin to wrap this little egg like a mummy. Again, we're trying to get that fabric really close and really tight to the egg so we get a great transfer. This step is important, and I'll show you later why. Grab your yarn and wrap it around. I highly recommend using acrylic yarn so we don't get any transfer of color. You could probably use some sort of organic rope or twine as well. Make sure we're getting that fabric on there really tight. And snip and tie the ends. Here I wanted to see if we could go a little bit easier. Just wrap it in cloth and tie around. It is not tight enough of a bond with the egg, and you'll see later it doesn't turn out nearly as cute. Depending on how many eggs you have, you're probably going to need a pretty big pot, so go ahead and gently put them in there and fill them up as best you can. Add water till the eggs are covered, and then we'll move on to the stovetop. This next step is crucial. You're going to want to add a 1/4 cup of distilled white vinegar. You can add a little bit more, it doesn't really matter, but you gotta have it in there. Put the lid on and bring it to a slight boil. Just a few bubbles will do. We're gonna set our timer for 20 minutes and let these little eggs do their magic. Once your timer's gone off, you're gonna carefully take out your eggs and put them into a vessel which they can cool in. They cool faster if you separate them out once you let them drain out of the water.
So one of the reasons why I think the dye transfers from the silk tie onto the egg is because they're both protein. So the silk is made from a protein from the silkworm, and then the eggshell is also a protein. And the dyes that are used are acid dyes, so we're using that vinegar to kind of bring out that and transfer it over. So we've got that green paisley. Oh, wow. These are so beautiful, so extremely detailed. My goodness. Wow. I want to do more. I know I've got a bunch right here, but oh, man.
And here's the moment we've all been waiting for. What I got to see up close and personal, I'll now show you. These eggs are magical. Here I'm going to show you why I don't recommend doing the solid piece of fabric. It just doesn't get the transfer. You can see it came out really pale. It's still there, but not nearly as remarkable when you really take the time to wrap it right. For an optional method to get that nice shine, go ahead and take some cooking oil or coconut oil and just polish those eggs up. They turn out gleaming and stunning. I hope y'all have a wonderful Easter this year, and I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I know I did. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon, and God bless.